Picture this. It is a Tuesday night. You are 28 years old, sitting at your kitchen table with your laptop open. You check your investment account for the 100th time this month. The balance reads $47,328. You have been saving religiously for 4 years. You skip the expensive coffees. You pack your lunch. You drive a used car while your friends lease new ones. Every single paycheck, you transfer money to your brokerage account like clockwork. $500 every 2 weeks, sometimes $600 if you pick up overtime. And yet, the number barely moves. You watch it creep from $46,000 to $47,000 over 3 months. 3 entire months of discipline, sacrifice, and delayed gratification for $1,000 measly dollars. At this rate, you calculate, it will take you another 6 years just to hit $100,000. 6 more years of watching your friends take vacations while you stay home. 6 more years of saying no to experiences because you are building something bigger. You close the laptop. You feel exhausted. You wonder if you are doing this wrong. Here is what nobody tells you about building wealth. You are not doing it wrong. You are right on schedule for the most brutal, demoralizing, soul-crushing phase of wealth accumulation that exists. The climb to your first $100,000 is financial purgatory. It is where hope goes to die and where most people give up entirely. But here is the twist that changes everything. Once you cross that $100,000 threshold, the entire game flips. The math transforms. What took you a decade to build the first time will take you 3 years the second time. Your next $100,000 comes faster, then faster still, and by the time you are staring at $600,000, you will watch in disbelief as your account rockets to $1 million in less time than it took you to save your first $50,000. This is not motivation, this is mathematics, and today we are going to break down exactly why your brain is wired to quit right before the exponential curve kicks in. Let me show you the numbers that make grown adults cry. You save $10,000 per year. Not bad. That is aggressive for most people. You invest it consistently at a 7% annual return, which is conservative for the stock market over long periods. After 1 year, you have $10,700. Your investment earned you $700. That is it. $700 for an entire year of sacrifice. After 2 years, you have $22,149. You contributed $20,000 of your own money. The market gave you $2,149. Barely enough to cover a used couch. After 5 years, you have $61,529. You personally deposited $50,000. Compound interest gave you $11,529. That is nice, but it is not life-changing. It is a decent emergency fund. It is not wealth. This is the zone where people break. They look at those numbers and think the game is rigged. They think investing is a scam sold to them by people who already have money. They are watching their friends buy boats and take trips to Europe, while they are celebrating an extra $11,000 that took 5 years to accumulate. And then something happens at year 8. You hit $100,000. And suddenly the 7% return is not $700 anymore. It is $7,000. Your money is now generating almost as much profit per year as you are contributing. The machine you built is finally starting to hum. By year 13, you have $200,000. But notice what just happened. The first $100,000 took you 8 years. The second $100,000 took you 5 years. That is a 30% reduction in time for the exact same dollar amount. This is not magic. This is the exponential function doing what it always does. It starts invisible, then it becomes unavoidable. Humans are terrible at understanding exponential growth. Our brains evolved to think linearly. If you walk 1 mile per hour for 10 hours, you walk 10 miles. Simple, predictable, linear. But money does not grow linearly. Money grows exponentially. And exponential growth feels broken at the beginning because the results are pathetic compared to the effort. You deposit $500 this month. Your account grows by $520. You contributed 96% of that growth. The market contributed 4%. It feels like the market is doing nothing. But here is what your brain cannot intuitively grasp. That 4% is compounding on an increasingly large base. As your base grows, that 4% becomes a bigger and bigger absolute number. Eventually, that percentage overtakes your contributions entirely. This is why people quit at $30,000. They have been saving for 3 years and they are exhausted. The returns feel insignificant. They look at their balance and think, at this rate, I will never retire. So they cash out, buy a car, and start over. They do not realize they just killed the goose right before it was about to lay golden eggs. There is another psychological trap here, and it is comparison. You are in year 4 of your savings journey with $45,000 in the bank. You see someone on social media who just hit $500,000. They are younger than you. They seem happier. They are posting from Bali. What you do not see is that they have been investing for 15 years. Or they inherited a house. Or they got lucky with a tech stock. You are comparing your chapter 3 to someone else's chapter 18. And that comparison is killing your discipline. Dopamine does not care about delayed gratification. Your brain rewards you for immediate pleasure. Buying something today feels better than watching a number tick up slowly on a screen. This is why discipline is so hard in the early years. The feedback loop is too slow. The reward is too distant. Your brain interprets this as failure. Even when you are doing everything right, you are not failing, you are building, but it will not feel like building for years. Most people never make it to $100,000 because they step on landmines along the way. The first landmine is lifestyle inflation. You get a raise. Congratulations, you are now making $65,000 instead of $55,000. That extra $10,000 per year should accelerate your savings, right? Wrong. Because the same week you get that raise, you upgrade your apartment, you lease a nicer car, you start eating out more because you deserve it after working so hard. Within 6 months, your new lifestyle has absorbed the entire raise. You are saving the exact same amount you were before, except now you are locked into higher fixed costs. Research shows that 94% of millionaires live below their means, while the average person upgrades their lifestyle with every income increase. Lifestyle inflation is a trap disguised as success. The second landmine is consumer debt bleeding you dry. Credit card debt at 18% interest is a financial gunshot wound. If you are carrying a $10,000 balance and paying $200 per month, you are spending $150 of that on interest. You are paying the bank $1,800 per year just for the privilege of owing them money. Meanwhile, if you invested that same $10,000 at 7%, you would earn $700 per year. The difference between paying 18% and earning 7% is 25 percentage points. That is the spread between wealth and poverty. Every dollar you owe is a dollar that is not compounding in your favor. It is compounding against you. The third landmine is investment FOMO and strategy hopping. You start investing in index funds. Boring but effective. Then your coworker tells you about cryptocurrency. You move half your portfolio into crypto. Then you hear about real estate. You pull money out to save for a down payment. Then the market dips and you panic sell everything. This is not investing. This is gambling with extra steps. The data is clear. People who contribute consistently to low-cost index funds and do not touch them for decades outperform 90% of active traders. The biggest enemy of compound interest is not market downturns. It is your own impatience. The fourth landmine is ignoring free money from your employer. If your company offers a 401k match and you are not maxing it out, you are leaving a raise on the table. A 5% match on a $60,000 salary is $3,000 per year. That is $3,000 you did nothing to earn except show up and click a button. Over 30 years at 7% growth, that $3,000 per year becomes $303,000. You are walking past a pile of $300,000 because you did not read your benefits packet. The fifth landmine is cashing out early because you are tired. This is the most common killer of all. You have been saving for 5 years. You have $52,000. You are exhausted. You want to buy a house, or a car, or take a year off. So you liquidate the account. You just torched 5 years of compounding. That $52,000, left alone for another 25 years at 7%, would have grown to $282,000. Instead, you bought a car that will be worth $8,000 in 5 years. You traded a future $250,000 for a depreciating asset and instant gratification. These landmines are why most people never see the exponential curve. They do not fail because they are lazy. They fail because the early years are so unrewarding that they quit right before the miracle happens. If you want to reach 100,000 faster, you cannot optimize for returns. You have to optimize for behavior. A person making 50,000 who saves 20% will accumulate more wealth than a person making 100,000 who saves 5%. The math is simple. 50,000 times 20% equals 10,000 saved. 100,000 times 5% equals 5,000 saved. Your savings rate is the single most controllable variable in your wealth equation. You cannot control the stock market. You cannot control inflation, but you can control how much of your paycheck you keep. Aim for 20% minimum, 30% if you are serious. Your 401k match is free money. Max it out first. Your HSA contributions are triple tax advantaged. Fund that next. Your Roth IRA contributions grow tax-free forever. Fill that up third. These accounts do not just save you taxes. They automate discipline. The money leaves your paycheck before you can spend it. Traditional IRAs and 401k reduce your taxable income today. Roth accounts let you withdraw gains tax-free in retirement. Both are better than taxable brokerage accounts for long-term wealth building because the tax savings compound. Saving $1,000 in taxes per year for 30 years at 7% growth turns into $101,000. The government just gave you 6 figures for filling out some forms. Your main job pays your bills. Your side income builds your wealth. If you freelance, sell things online, or pick up extra shifts, do not let that money touch your checking account. Set up automatic transfers from side income directly into your brokerage. This is found money. Treat it like it does not exist. Let it compound for decades. You will get raises. You will get bonuses. You will get tax refunds. Do not increase your lifestyle. Keep living on last year's income and invest the difference. This is how people making $70,000 per year end up with more wealth than people making $150. They do not upgrade their life every time their income ticks up. They widen the gap between what they earn and what they spend. The goal is simple: get to 100,000 as fast as humanly possible. Because once you are there, the math changes. At 100,000, earning 7% per year gives you 7,000 in annual returns. That is more than most people save in a year. Your money is now working harder than you are. At 200,000, that 7% is 14,000 per year. If you are still contributing 10,000 annually, your portfolio is now growing by 24,000 per year. You are contributing 42% of the growth. The market is contributing 58%. The machine is doing most of the work now. At 500,000, the 7% return is 35,000 per year. Even if you stop contributing entirely, you are earning more from your investments than the median American earns from their job. This is the point where early retirement becomes mathematically possible. At 600,000, you are 3 years away from 1 million even if you never add another dollar. The compound interest at this stage is so powerful that your contributions become almost irrelevant. The snowball is rolling downhill and you are just watching it grow. This is why the first 100,000 is the hardest. It is the only phase where you are doing all the heavy lifting. After that, your money starts pulling its own weight, and the bigger it gets, the harder it works. But there is something even more powerful than the math. There is the psychology. When you see your account grow by 10,000 in a single year without you contributing a dime, something shifts in your brain. Suddenly, this is not a spreadsheet exercise anymore. This is real. You can see the machine working. You can feel the momentum, and that momentum creates its own discipline. You stop wanting to cash out because watching the numbers grow becomes addictive. You stop lifestyle inflation because you would rather see the account hit the next milestone. You stop doubting the process because the evidence is right in front of you. This is the psychological tipping point. The first 100,000 requires blind faith. Everything after that is proof. Let me show you the timeline so you believe me. You save 10,000 per year at 7% annual returns. The first 100,000 takes 7.8 years. The next 100,000, bringing you to 200,000 total, takes only 5.1 additional years. Getting to 300,000 takes another 4.2 years. 400,000 takes 3.6 more years. 500,000 takes 3.2 years. 600,000 takes 2.9 years. And then the jump from 600,000 to $1 million takes 6.4 years. That is $400,000 of growth in the same time it took you to build your first 100,000. This is exponential growth, visualized. This is why Charlie Munger said getting the first 100,000 is a bitch, because it is. But once you get there, the game is over. You have already won. You just have to wait for the math to catch up. And here is the most important part. This assumes you never increase your contributions. If you get raises, if you add side income, if you invest windfalls, the timeline compresses even faster. People who go from 0 to 100,000 in 10 years often go from 600,000 to 1 million in 3 years because they are contributing more as their income grows. The exponential curve does not care about fairness. It rewards patience, and it punishes quitting. Here is what you need to do right now. Calculate how long it will take you to hit 100,000 at your current savings rate. Be honest. If you are saving $500 per month and investing at 7%, it will take you just under 11 years. That is your timeline. Own it. Now ask yourself, can you increase that savings rate? Can you cut one subscription? Can you skip one dinner out per week? Can you negotiate a raise? Can you pick up a side gig for 6 months? Every extra dollar you save shaves weeks off that timeline. Then automate everything. Set up automatic transfers on payday. Make it so you never see the money hit your checking account. Pay yourself first. Let future you deal with budgeting the leftovers, and stop checking your balance every day. Seriously, watching your account in the early years is like watching grass grow. It is demotivating. Check it once per quarter. Celebrate the small wins. Then go back to living your life. You are not building a nest egg, you are building a machine, and machines take time to build. But once they are running, they do not stop. They do not get tired. They do not take vacations. They just compound forever until you have more money than you know what to do with. The war is won in the first battle. If you can survive the brutal slog to 100,000, everything else is downhill. The math takes over, the psychology shifts, the momentum becomes self-sustaining. Most people quit at 30,000 because they do not understand this. They think the whole journey will feel like the first 3 years. They do not realize the first 3 years are the anomaly, the exception, the test. If you can pass the test, you win the game. Stop paying for momentum you do not have yet. Stop comparing your chapter 3 to someone else's chapter 15. Stop sabotaging your future self because your present self is tired. You are climbing a mountain in the dark. You cannot see the summit. You cannot see how far you have come. All you can see is the next step. Take the next step. and then take the next one. And one day, you will look up and realize you are not climbing anymore. You are standing at the top, watching your money double every decade without you lifting a finger. That is the promise of the first 100,000. It is not the destination, it is the engine. And once you build the engine, the rest of the journey happens on autopilot. Now go build your engine.